Okay, I'll try this one. It's got a little bit of ring to it. It's okay. Hey, don't sit down yet. Hold on. Let the old man catch his breath. It's not illegal to be a Christian and have fun at the same time. I just want to let you guys know that. So before we sing our next song, tonight is like a night of commissioning, by the way. And we're going to be celebrating our seniors here in a little bit. So just go ahead and give it up for our seniors. If you're close to a senior, hey, find a senior, give them a hug right now. Find a senior, give them a hug right now. Okay, so we'll have time for more hugging later. Just don't do any kissing. Before we get into our senior nights, there is one thing I want us to do. This I don't want to say boy, this guy, this man is not a senior, but he's going to be leaving us for a couple months, starting, I think, this Saturday. And we want to have a special time of prayer for him. It's Blake. Where's Blake? Where's Blake? Come on up to the front, Blake, please. Blake is, are you leaving Saturday? Yes. Blake is leaving Saturday. He's going to be working at a Christian camp in North Carolina. Andrews, North Carolina. He's got the shirt to prove it. Been there, have a shirt to prove it. Called Snowbird Wilderness Outfitters. It's a Christian camp. Hundreds and hundreds, probably thousands of teens come every year during the summer, and they hear preaching, and they do a lot of activities, and the whole purpose is for their lives to be changed by the gospel of Jesus. Blake's going to be working at this camp. Like, a lot of teenagers are going to be going to this camp. Blake's going to be working at this camp. He's going to be doing a lot of activities, but he's going to have so many opportunities to make an impact on the lives of people. So before we do our next song, before we kind of turn our focus to what God's doing in the lives of our seniors, I want us to pray. The Bible says that anytime the early church would send out missionaries, they would lay hands on them and pray for them. And Blake may be a little claustrophobic, but we got to be biblical, Blake. So I want everybody that can just flood up here by the stage and see if you can put your hand on Blake. We're sending him out as our missionary to thousands of teenagers. Don't grab him by the neck, please. That's not good. Or any other, yeah. So let's, everybody bow your head, close your eyes. This isn't, it's kind of funny that we're all touching Blake, but the serious aspect of this is we want God to use Blake. So if you can't touch Blake, just reach your hand out towards him. And let's all, everybody pray quietly as I pray out loud for Blake. God, you're obviously at work in Blake's life, and I see through the way that he acts towards others that he has the heart of someone who you are calling into ministry. Doesn't maybe know exactly what that means yet, but God, he's exploring his gifts, and he doesn't want to serve later. He wants to serve now. So God, we're so thankful for Blake, and we're so thankful that he's been and will continue to be a very big part of our youth group. God, I pray that as he prepares to leave, that you'll bless him with peace as he has to say goodbye to his parents and say goodbye to his friends for a couple months. God, I pray that as he goes down there and he's serving, that he won't be homesick. He'll be so focused on what you have for him that he'll find joy, he'll find happiness in serving you. I pray that you will enable him and you'll just equip him with the gifts of your Holy Spirit, even things that he's not naturally good at, but you'll supernaturally give him the ability to do and tasks that he'll have the ability to learn. And God, I pray that you'll bring people into his life, specific teenagers and people into his life that he'll be able to have gospel conversations with and tell them about you and everything you're doing in his life, God, that he can pour into the lives of others. God, we're so thankful for Blake, and I pray that you will richly bless his life this summer. In Jesus' name, amen. Yeah. I love you, sir. So don't go, you go back, but don't sit down. Yes. And somebody may need to go to the bathroom. I'm just saying that. But we're going to sing one more song. This is kind of a song that we're going to dedicate to our seniors, that we're going to dedicate to Blake. No matter where you go, we want Christ to be with you. So join us as we sing this next song. Thank you guys for your good singing. You can go ahead and have a seat. You can go ahead and have a seat. Somebody can turn the lights on, please. I want to be able to see all your beautiful faces. Tonight is a special night. Tonight is the night that we do once a year, and we call it Senior Night. And it's a night where we honor our seniors. So if you are a senior tonight, will you come up and find a seat right here? We want to honor you, and celebrate you, and hopefully not embarrass you too much. John, do you have that mic you were using with you? Okay. Drew, will you run that up to me, please? Because we are going to need that too. Thank you, Drew. I appreciate you, sir. Always appreciate a good sound guy. So tonight, we have certain traditions, and I'm starting a new tradition tonight. And this tradition is, I did the best I could. I didn't want to hit you guys up because I knew you wouldn't respond. But I tried to find some maybe embarrassing pictures or pictures from when you were younger. I didn't find them on everybody, but the ones I found were just too good not to show. And I think Trevin sent a picture of himself in, so we're going to put that picture up. Hi, Tyler. So I just want to kind of flip through some of these pictures. I cruised through your parents' Facebook too. So what's the first picture we have? Do you know? Well, who up here is a triplet? Anybody know? This is a picture of Brian. I don't know which of these is you, Brian. Do you know? Can you recognize yourself? You're the one on the right? You look like you just had a bottle, like a nice warm bottle, and you're just like, oh, you had a good burp, and you're just chilling on the couch. The next one, I think, I got this off Victoria's parents' Facebook. It's Victoria and a little bit younger David. Not much younger. He still looks good. But this was, I don't know how old you were, Victoria, probably not more than a year. She's already smiling. Next picture, I think, is Trevin. Trevin sent this one in. Now, Trevin, you got to tell me who you're with here. Mr. James. Oh, band director, because Trevin, did you play band all 4 years at Midland? Trevin's played band all 4 years at Midland, going to be playing at Marshall. So that's him with his with the band director, who is quite the band director and practices you guys a lot. Some of these guys I was able to find pictures from. I'll tell you that in a second. I think I have a good one of young Andrew that we found on your mom's Facebook. Look at that little baby face. He's so cute. I was able to find, because some of these guys have been in our youth group ever since they were young middle schoolers. And I was able to find some pictures of them when they were middle school. So will you bring, I think the next one is one of those. Will you bring the next one up? So this is a very young Jed. Apparently, from what I was told, the story is it was our spirit nights, and you came dressed as the Hulk, but somebody stole both of your biceps. So all you were left with was your well-developed pectorals. But I mean, look how little he was, And Jed came in 6th grade or 7th grade, and then this, I don't know. This one's you just got to see it. You just got to see it. That is a young Jordan Musgrave. I guess this was a Spirit Nights dress-up theme. I don't know what were you, do you remember what you were dressed up as? Okay, yeah, he has a J on his shirt. He's got a sort of a lightsaber or a sword. He's got camo gloves on, there he is. Looking cool as ever in 6th grade. So what's cool about these guys, I wasn't able to find embarrassing pictures on I cruised. Jordan found the pictures for you and sent them in to us. All that to say, these guys, some of these guys have been with us for a long time. Some of you, I just got to meet this year. But I'm just so thankful for all of you guys. If I had to maybe define this class of seniors, Refuel seniors, in one word or one phrase, I was thinking about this, it would be all in. This group of seniors was all in. It didn't matter what we were doing. They were all in. Some of these guys were part of a Bible study we started with 6th graders, and it started with about 90% of the Bible study was dodgeball, 10% was just everybody fighting with each other, and every once in a while we'd read a verse in the Bible. But now these guys, they study hard. These guys are all in. Whatever we were doing, they were here. They were all in, and you guys are awesome. So the way we like to, I need to get my little podium, but the way we like to start out, and hopefully this isn't too on the spot for you guys, but we like to ask you some questions. Because now that you are old people, you didn't know that, did you? You guys are old people now. And because you're old people, you have wisdom. You may not think so, but you have wisdom. So we want to have you impart some of your wisdom on these young, moldable minds here. Their minds are yours to mold or warp. And knowing some of you, you will be warping their minds tonight. So I have a microphone. This is your friend. This is how we can hear you. And I'm going to be asking you some questions. You're going to be looking back over your high school career. And we'll just kind of like start at one side and just kind of pass the mic down, and you can answer. If the question's too personal, you don't have to. We're not going to really be getting into your deep, dark, personal. Madison looks a little concerned. We're not going to really be getting that deep. But go ahead and put the first question up so Trevin can see it, because I'm going to start with Trevin. We're going to work our way down. We're asking you what the most awkward thing to happen to you during your time in high school was. From Trevin's face, he's already got something figured out. So I'm just going to hand this over to you, and when you're done, just take it on down the line. It's ready to go. It's on. Yes, sir.
Wow.
It's on, yeah.
I would say the most awkward thing that happened to me in high school was I grabbed a cookie over from the it was when I was in band still. Yeah. No.
Uh-huh.
It was literally I was in band still, and Jacob Straley said, "I saw what you did," and it got with me through the past 4 years of high school. So that's the most embarrassing thing that
He's not letting you forget about that,
No,
is he?
he's not.
Tyler?
Whenever I saw this question, I immediately got a flashback to 9th grade, and that was breaking up with my first girlfriend. And I just remember, this is a bit of a story, I'll give the abridged version of it, but I tell a really good version of it if you want to hear it later on. And I remember I went up to my friends. This was back whenever we had grab and go, if anyone remembers what that is in Midland. And I went up to my group of friends, and they were asking me, like, hey, did you break up with her yet? And they're like, no, I'm doing it right now. And they're like, what? I'm like, go, leave, run. And so they all scattered to, like, this other end of the hallway. And she comes up to me, and she says, hey, how you doing? And then I just go, I think we need to break up. And then she looks at me and just goes, why? And then I say, because. And then I don't give another answer. And I just go, because. And then she just looks really disgusted at me and walks away. And then sure enough, like, they come right back over. Like, they have to pretend they didn't see what just happened. And they're like, yeah, good job, you did it. And I'm like, I really kind of wish I did it better, though. But at the end of the day, I got the job done.
You don't have one? You don't have to answer it if you don't want to. I know Musgrave has to have one.
I'm just an awkward person in general, so I just have a lot of things. But this one happened last year, this year. I was like changing for something after school, and I was in the bathroom, and like our bathrooms at school have like two doors. The one that goes from the hallway into the bathroom, and then there's like a little section right there, and then another door that goes into the bathroom. And like the one was open, and it was this girl's first year at our school, and she didn't know what bathroom it was. So she opens the door, and I'm completely like half naked in my underwear. And so I just accepted it at the moment, and I just went. she stared at me. I just went. I just waved at her completely, standing there. But yeah.
Like I said, warped. Victoria?
Okay, well, I have like two really short ones because they're both kind of tied. It was my freshman year at like one of the first couple football games that we had at home, and my dad was gonna like come pick me up or something, and I thought that this guy was my dad, so I'm like yelling, I'm like, Dad, Dad, and like this guy turns around, like looks at me, I was like, oh, I'm sorry, and just kind of ran into the bathroom and hid for like a good 20 minutes because I didn't know what else to do. And then the beginning of this year, when I was still in my boot after I broke my ankle, first day of school, Mom goes, don't fall. She was like, whatever you do, you have to be so careful, don't fall. Well, me, as you all know, clumsy as I am, I'm walking down my hallway to homeroom, first mod of the day. There's a huge puddle in the ground. I don't see it. I'm not paying attention. I'm just not paying attention. I slip and fall. I'm in a dress. I have my boot on, and I just kind of sit there like, yep, this is how senior year is going to go for me. And then my friend goes, he's like, are you okay? You okay? I was like, I'm fine. Just give me a second. I'm going to be okay. And then I got up and walked as fast as I could to homeroom and never spoke of it again.
Okay, well, like Victoria, I also have two short ones. The first one is the second time I was taking the ACT, I was in 9th grade. I didn't know how to turn off the hourly beep on my watch, so it beeped twice every hour. And we were in there for like 4 hours, so it was really annoying. And I was really lucky that I didn't get kicked out for it, because that's actually illegal to bring an alarm into the ACT. So I could have gotten kicked out. And the second one is a few people remember this. I was at the Barstow Park about a year ago, and it was Matthew, Evan, and Sydney. They were there with me. The rest of the people were off doing something. Matthew decides to mess with me, so I start chasing him around the grass, and it's wet, a lot of puddles. So I had one of those as seen on TV moments where I just hit a puddle just right and go, land on my back, just pish, and just sit there for like a minute just contemplating what the heck I had just done.
All right. I have two ones as well. They both happened this year. I transferred to Spring Valley, and my first one was my first day of creative writing class. They went outside because it was a really nice day, and I had no idea where they were. So I went and walked around the building, and I was really scared because I just kept walking around and nobody was seen. And I kept walking, and then the principal walks out, and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm just like, "I'm trying to find my class," because apparently they're outside. And they took me inside, and they're just like, "Well, we don't know what to do. We don't know where your class is." So I had to sit in the office for like the rest of the class and no idea where they were.
Oh my goodness.
And then the second one also was this year. I was a new student. I knew nobody at Spring Valley. The first person I talked to was on the bus, and they walked down the bus. And I was like, "Hey, I'm new. You want to sit here?" And they completely ignored me.
Oh, that's
and
terrible.
they're now my best friend. So it's too funny.
Mine, I gotta say, probably happened this year in my AP English class. We were grading essays we wrote on a scale of 1 to 9. And me being the smart aleck I am, right before my teacher walks in, I say I'm just gonna give myself a 0 so I'm not let down by my actual score. As I was saying that, my teacher walks in and goes, "So would you like an actual 0 instead?" And that didn't go over well.
Mine would have to be this year, and I'd say it would be the burn mark on that grade.
Oh, yeah. Andrew, you can say he left a mark on the youth group, or more specifically on the youth group stage. Okay, next question. What's one, and we'll just start with Andrew and work our way back now. What's one thing you'll miss about high school? Just one thing. You don't necessarily have to explain it. Just like one thing you'll miss about high school. Pepperoni rolls, whatever.
I would say not having to worry about college and school. Like being out and having to be on time since I'm homeschooled.
I'm gonna miss the camaraderie with the friends.
I'm going to miss the random clapping in the cafeteria at random times.
I'd say the lack of responsibility.
Oh, yes.
Mine's kind of like Jed's. Like, there's just like a responsibility of not having to really worry about anything because now college and you have to worry about literally life because you're an adult now.
Yeah. You have to start adulting.
I'm going to miss my friends because, well, I go to such a small school. We all grew up since kindergarten forever, and we just graduated. So kindergarten through 12th grade of my friends is then just never seeing them again is what I'll miss probably most.
I'm going to regret nothing.
I guess probably what Brian said, friends and the camaraderie.
Friendship.
Friends and band.
Friends and band. You won't miss the practices probably.
No,
Though, will you?
we'll not miss that.
Next question is, what are some perks to being a senior? It's your senior year. What are some nice things about being a senior? Trevin, you'll start and we'll go down this way.
You get to boss everybody around.
Boss everybody around. Living the dream. Tyler?
The main perk I got to being a senior is I got to teach people like Drew and some of her friends just like what it meant to be at Midland and like this is what you should do, this is what you shouldn't do, and this is basically how to survive high school. And it's basically just kind of like
Survival 101.
it's basically kind of like teaching like ninth graders like you're basically like their boss, not necessarily their boss, but they don't want to admit it, but they do kind of look up to you in a way. They don't necessarily be like, oh, those seniors are so cool, but they'll definitely listen to what you have to say. So being able to tell underclassmen basically the what for is pretty good perk.
You can do whatever you want.
That's nice.
Well, at my school, you don't have to take finals when you're a senior. So I
Yeah.
didn't take any finals this year.
Are y'all taking finals right now? Yeah. That's tough. Well, you aren't. Yeah.
I think one of the perks, like, from myself becoming a senior was, like, I had more freedom and, like, mom and dad, like, curfew was one of them. Like, I have a later curfew and, like, stuff like that, and they, like, look up to me, and I'm, like, more responsible. And, like, they kind of look at you as an adult more because you are a senior, because you're going to college, so they got to prepare for that.
Right. The advantage of being old doesn't really come as much as a senior, at least for me, because, like, you're too old to be a kid and not be held responsible, but you're also too young to not be fully, like, you're too young to be fully trusted. So it's like you're in that awkward middle ground of like, what am I going to do with myself? Can't do anything.
In the words of Britney Spears, I'm not a girl, not yet a woman. No, just never mind. Just don't listen to me. It's all about you. You're too young to remember that stuff anyway. Madison?
More freedom, really, around
Freedom.
the school.
Slacking off because the teachers just really just want to get rid of you at that point. They don't want to deal with it.
Let's just get this guy out of here.
I would have to say more responsibility, but that's good and bad.
Okay. The next question is a little more like looking forward. You don't have to have like a 5-point plan, but like what are you going to be doing this fall, like next year? Like now that you're done as a senior, what's the next step?
I'm going to be going to Bridge Valley this fall, and I'm going to study instrumentation.
I'll be going to Marshall and studying chemistry.
I'll be going to Marshall and majoring in graphic design.
Unless anything changes, Marshall University with a major in international business in Japan.
International man of mystery.
I'm going to Marshall and majoring in digital forensics.
Nice.
I don't have a plan. I'm kind of stuck between. Majoring in forensic science or going to nursing school.
Plan on going into the military or welding school, whichever happens first.
Cool.
I plan on going to Southern Methodist University down in Dallas and studying history.
We're not letting you go. Just wanted to let you know that. You're not allowed to leave. Sorry, Trevor.
I'm going to Marshall and doing the school of music and majoring in music performance and technology, actually.
Okay. Next question. This is a little more introspective. What was the hardest thing for you to deal with this past school year? Like if you look at this past school year, your senior year, what was the hardest thing you had to kind of work through?
Schoolwork
Yes.
and band.
Tyler?
Getting prepared for college was definitely the hardest thing. I'm still like having to fill out paperwork, and they're still making me make corrections and whatnot. And like, word of advice to like anyone that's in high school right now: take your ACT as early as you can. Like, take it as soon as you see the next sign-up date for it, take it then. Yeah. Not even joking with you. It is probably the most advantageous thing you can do. Because I waited till the very last 2 dates to do it. Luckily, I was able to manage to pull it completely out of thin air. But I guarantee you, I could have done a lot better had I taken it beforehand. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I took it once my junior year with my senior year.
So definitely preparing for college has been the hardest part. I'd recommend start doing that as soon as you possibly can.
Yeah. Having to become an adult and
yeah.
fix everything.
Probably just a lot of homework and dealing with people, because I'm going to be negative. People are always going to let you down sometimes. So,
Mine would be my AP Gov class, and then dealing with just trying to get over drama and like trying to get past it, because, I mean, we're old enough to get away from all this drama. Like, we're seniors now, and it's just, we're sick and tired of it. So just trying to push it out of the way and like try to look forward into life.
Yeah.
I'd say getting my life together and rearranging my priorities.
Senior quest and realizing I'm actually graduating this year.
Yeah, that's wild.
Procrastinating all the work for my AP classes.
Yes.
I would have to say just different trials.
Okay. Next question. This isn't just for your senior year, but your whole life. If you look over your whole life, at what point in your life have you been closest to God?
I would honestly have to say right now.
The day that I was baptized.
Cool.
This year, sometime.
Now.
Wow.
Mine would have to be either during our mission trip to Vegas and like afterwards, because I like really connected with God, or like when I broke my ankle and I realized that breaking it wasn't something like negative, it was actually a positive and like a blessing from God. So like turning that into something positive and like really reconnecting and having a relationship with God again.
Cool.
Victoria stole mine.
Sorry.
It's okay. Probably the point after the mission trip to Las Vegas in 2016. From that point on, it's just, that was just really a changing point for me in my life. Just seeing God work into the darkest place in America, probably the closest place to the darkest place in the world.
Jed stole mine, but it's right now.
Definitely some point within like the past school year, or it was actually probably the first couple times Jordan brought me over here wherever she's at. So shout out to Jordan.
There she is.
Probably my freshman year.
Okay. Now, the next question is kind of similar, but it's if there's one moment that has changed your life so far, what was it and when did it happen? There's one moment that's kind of like defined who you are or changed your life. What was it and when did it happen? Sorry, Trevin.
Whenever I came here,
Mm-hmm.
it changed a lot of things, and I love you, Matt. You're one of the greatest pastors I think I've ever came across.
I love you too, Trevin. You're a good man.
There was like some point over the summer, last summer. I can't really remember when it was, but I just kind of remember I had this like realization that I was like, something has to change. And I was like, this is my senior year, this is my final year of high school. It's do or die time pretty much, sink or swim. And I was like, I'm gonna have to change a lot of things. I'm gonna have to like start improving on areas of my life and focus on becoming a better person. And it is still a very lengthy work of progress that has many ounces of regression and many turns. And it's not easy becoming a better person. It's not easy going through tough times, but going through tough times is what makes us better people. And being able to look at yourself in the mirror one day and realize, I like who I am, it's probably the greatest feeling one can ever experience. And it's only possible through hard work, dedication to yourself, and trusting and believing in others around you, and having and trusting faith and love for God.
Awesome.
Yeah, that pretty much sums up mine. Tyler just said.
Okay. That's great.
Okay, are you talking about like spiritual, mental, or physical changes?
All of the above. I'm a little concerned, but just tell me what's on your mind.
Okay.
This is your night.
Well, when I started to change my life, it's when I went to the gym for the first time with Wyatt McCabe. Yep. He was stronger than me then, but I'm stronger than him now. So.
Oh!
Do you want to go?
We'll take care of this after.
All
We'll take
right.
care of this outside, okay? After youth group.
But yeah, I was a chunky boy, and I don't know. dropped some pounds, got stronger. I still got a ways to go. I passed Wyatt, and that's all that counts.
All right. Victoria.
I'm gonna bring up Vegas again on the trip. It was kind of a realization of how amazing and like great and big God is, because like we always talk about that and like how big is God and He's big enough. And like in Vegas, I really realized this, and I'll just tell a quick little story. We went on the old strip in Vegas, and we were tasked with going out and reaching people and just talking to them and trying to witness to them. Well, that was kind of a big step out of all of our boundaries because we haven't really done that before. And so I was paired with one of my friends, Madison, and we were having a really tough time, and no one wanted to talk to us. No one cared about God, and it was just kind of kept putting us down. So we actually got with John's group, and we prayed with them, and it was like our eyes were open to something. And like I can't explain it. It was just this feeling. And I kid you not, literally like 5 to 10 minutes later, we came across this man making bracelets. And we started talking to him, and he was actually a Christian. He was just thanking us for what we were doing and like how big of an impact we are on people. Well, then this is what is really eye-opening to me. A couple came by, and we started talking to them and like just about the bracelets and how pretty they were and like what we were doing there and everything. So we started talking about God and like how He's really impacted our lives and like who He is to us and everything. And they kind of looked at us funny, and they're like, where are you from? Are you from like West Virginia? And I was like, yeah, like how did you know that? Like we had not said that at all. And they're like, well, our daughter actually is working with the church we're partnering with, which is Grace City, and they just had a group come in, and I was like, oh my gosh, like that's us. And it was like just really cool because out of like that huge sinful place, like, and all these people, like literally there were thousands of people there, He sends us this couple to come talk to us, and like it hooked us up with, something so much greater than that. Like their daughter had a heroin addiction, and she had been clean for like a good 8 years, I think they were talking about, and Grace City had really helped her with that. And so now she was partnering with them and like wanted to meet us. And sadly, the Wednesday we went to go meet her, she was actually out witnessing to somebody else. But it was really cool just to see like how God sent us to those people out of all the people there. So it was just kind of like, wow, God is amazing. Like, look what He's done.
That's awesome.
All right, well, let's say probably in like December, January of this like last year, because like this past year just for me has been like one of the hardest years of my life so far. Definitely in about December, January, I don't know which one. This is kind of in between there. I finally decided to stop focusing on things of the temporary, but rather the things of the eternal. And I feel like I've finally gotten my foot in the door. I'm ready to tear things up.
Wow. Okay. Madison?
Well, in Wayne County, we do this thing called Senior Quest, which is the biggest presentation for a senior. And if you can't pass it, you can't graduate. Well, my biggest moment was during that presentation. And that's when I realized that what I was doing my presentation on, I didn't want to do at all when I grew up. And the judges were asking me questions, and I couldn't answer them. And it was really scary because I realized I didn't know what I wanted to do at all.
The moment that changed my life so far was probably the day when Tyler suggested I should take Jordan to homecoming, which 8 months later, here I am, closer to God. So, you are welcome, by the way.
I would have to say, whenever I realized, that it's not about us, we all have a purpose, and it's not about us. And I would have to say maybe a couple years ago.
Awesome. Drew, we're going to skip to the final question. And this is the question that is the big question we always seem to skip question number 8 every year because we just have to get to the next question. But this is your all's senior night. This isn't your last time we're ever going to see you or anything like that, so we don't have to be sappy. But this is your youth group. You have one opportunity. You only have one shot. Do not miss a chance to blow it. No. You have one opportunity to leave your youth group that you've been a part of with some advice. So if you could leave your youth group with one piece of advice, what would it be? Andrew?
I would have to say just stay in the Word and don't always listen to God and do your best whenever you're doing anything. Just don't go out of that or else you're not giving it your all. It's all for God.
Cool.
Don't procrastinate your schoolwork. Get it done.
Follow your heart and don't screw up in your early years of high school.
I'd say, for me, realize what you care about, because everything that we do here, your friends, your boyfriends, your girlfriends, your Snapchats, your possessions, your life, your body, it's not gonna last forever. The kingdom of God will, and it's much better to put your faith in that rather to put your faith in the things right now. And honestly, one thing I've realized is that if God in your life is something that only happens when, basically God only matters to you on Wednesday nights and Sundays, then you're doing it wrong. And that's one thing I've realized, that you make it all the time. Make it matter. Because someday, the one thing because like my dad's a doctor, and so the one thing I've heard people say the most when they're on their deathbeds, and this is at the end, is that I didn't care enough. I didn't get close enough to God. I didn't do this. I didn't do that. Don't be that guy on your deathbed saying, I wish I had done more. And of course, since most of us are, we're just graduating, and most of y'all are in middle school and high school, so that's not going to come just yet. But that's what everyone says. If you say, I'll do it tomorrow, then you'll never do it. The only time you do it is when you say, do it today. So do it today, because tomorrow may not come.
Very true.
What I would leave you all with is that Christianity isn't a word that you are. It's something that you are. It's something you should be living out. Being a Christian isn't just a label. It should be a way of life and what you're living for. And yes, proclaiming and being a Christian is going to be difficult. God never said that it's going to be easy. Jesus' disciples went through a lot proclaiming that they were Christians. And just because, this is a different day and age doesn't mean that it's going to be any less difficult for us. It's going to be just as hard, and we're going to lose friends because of it. I've lost friends because I proclaim that I'm a Christian and we don't agree on things, and it's gotten to the point where it was either we had to part ways because God wasn't going to lead us down the same path anymore. And you might not be able to get that date that you wanted to because the guy you want to go out with or the girl you want to go out with isn't a Christian, and you have to be equally yoked with each other. And one thing that I do want to tell you all is, I'm not just saying this, I've actually been through it, and I want to tell you all a quick little story if I have time. Back in December of 2016, I was invited to a party by one of my friends, and I knew what was going to be there. I knew what could potentially be there, and what I figured would be there would be alcohol and cussing, and I was afraid that other things, we'll just leave it at that, would be there. And but I said yes. I said I was going to go. And the whole week leading up to the party, I was convicted by God. I just felt like this guilt. If I go, I'm putting something out that I don't want to put out there, and I'm gonna hurt my testimony. I'm gonna hurt my image, what I've built up, since I was 5 years old when I, got saved. So the day of the party, I called the girl and I just told her I couldn't go, and I used the excuse that I wasn't feeling well, which was true. I wasn't feeling well, but I didn't go. And then that evening, we didn't have electricity, so Mom and Dad were like, let's go ice skating. Well, that's the evening I broke my ankle. And if you all know, I broke not just my ankle, but I broke my tibia, and I ripped all my ligaments from my foot connecting to my legs. So it was a really hard time. I couldn't walk for 3 months, and I've had 2 surgeries since then, putting in and out plates and screws, and I won't bore you with the details. But I say all that to say, I went through that thinking, the beginning, I was like, if I just would have went to that party, if I would have been at that party, I wouldn't have broken my ankle. I looked at my ankle as something that was, holding me back from what God was longing to do. But in all honesty, it was pushing me towards something that God was trying to get me to do. He was trying to show me that I needed to be closer with Him, that I needed better friends, and that by going through all this, that it was such a blessing in my life and my family's life. From my ankle breaking, I brought myself closer to God, and my family and I, as one, got closer to God as well. And I just want to leave you guys with, proclaiming that you're a Christian isn't just a word. It should be a way of life, and how you live your life should show your Christianity, and everything you do, you should be doing it in the glory of God. And I just really want to stick that in your all's brains, because it's so important. I know people now in high school are just like, oh, it's just a party, no big deal. We're just going to hang out. But it is a big deal, because people are going to remember that. People are going to remember that you claiming you're a Christian, but then going out and doing something else. And I just really, really, really want to leave that with you guys. That, again, Christianity isn't just a word, it's something that you should be living out.
Awesome. Thank you, Victoria. Jordan?
Mine's probably not as good as those. Okay, one thing that I would probably say is don't put all of your trust in something that isn't God. Don't try to find other things to validate your worth as a person, like whether it's your boyfriends or your girlfriends or someone you like or whatever. Because if you just find yourself just constantly trying to get your happiness out of that one person, it's not gonna completely satisfy you every time. You're just gonna keep wanting more, and it's just not gonna work for you. So don't put all of your happiness in someone or something.
Don't run down hills in the rain.
Don't run downhill
And
in the
don't
rain.
do stupid stuff to try to impress people.
There's a lot I could say, but I'll just try and boil it down to one thing, and that's like getting to where you want to be is something that's not going to come easy. But it's and it's always way easier to tear stuff down than it is to build stuff up. But building those things up is what makes life worth living and what makes life better. It makes life better for you. It makes life better for those around you. So at the end of the day, be happy with who you are. There's no one else quite like you. It's okay to have flaws. It's okay to have fears. It's okay to have imperfections. Because at the end of the day, we're all human. We all make mistakes. We all answer to the same Creator. Be happy with who you are. Don't spend the rest of your life trying to be someone you're not.
Trevin? I have absolutely no clue on this question. Okay. You want to take a pass on it?
Just give me a second.
Okay.
Don't do stupid stuff like go to parties and whatever else, like she said. Be safe and be a Christian. I'd rather you all be that rather than go be at a party and be stupid and be closer to Christ. That's all I say.
Thank you, Trevin. Thank you. And thank you guys for answering questions that were not easy. We have a couple more traditions, and one of them is that each of you are going to get one of these books. And it's you got to love Dr. Seuss. He is the best. And the book is Oh, the Places You'll Go, because these guys are going places. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, some of you, we have pictures of you when you were in 6th grade, and you've gone places since 6th grade, and where are you going to be in another 6 years? Some of you are going to have kids. That's scary. Some of you are going to be out of college. Some of you are going to be living here. Some of you may be living halfway around the world. You're going to be going places. And each of these students, each of our seniors is going to get one of these books. And this is kind of the unofficial Refuel yearbook for our seniors. So when we dismiss here in a couple minutes and we go downstairs, make sure to find each of these seniors and sign their book. It's kind of like, when you sign your yearbook at school. And they gave you advice. This will be your opportunity to give them encouragement. So I want to encourage you to do that. I'm not sure we'll have time to read through the whole book, and I want to get to the Bible before we get to this book because God's Word is the most important thing. But the end, it says, today is your day, your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. And then it says, whether your name be Bucksbaum or Bixie or Bray or Mordecai Alley Van Allen O'Shea, you're off to great places. Today is your day, your mountain is waiting, so get on your way. So whether your name is Trevin or Tyler or Stephen or Jordan or Victoria or Jed or Madison or Brian or Andrew, today is your day. And you left your youth group with one piece of advice, and I want to leave you with a verse. Not a verse that I'm going to go and give 5 points about, but just a series of verses that are verses that are very special to me because these are the verses that April and I claimed for our daughter, Addison, before she was born. And these are the verses that I also claim for each of you because I feel like you guys are my kids too. told myself I was going to do better this year and not cry, so I'm not going to cry. But I just want to read these verses over you. It says, "You've searched me, Lord, and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar," this is God, "you are familiar with all my ways. Before a word is on my tongue, Lord, you know it completely. You hem me in, behind and before. You lay your hand upon me. Such knowledge is too wonderful for me, too lofty for me to attain. Where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? If I go to heaven, the heavens, you're there. If I make my bed in the depths, you are there. If I rise on the wings of the dawn, if I settle on the far side of the sea, even there your hand will guide me. Your right hand will hold me fast. If I say, surely this darkness will hide me, the light will become night around me. Even the darkness will not be dark to you, for the night will shine like the day, for darkness is light to you. For you created my innermost being. You knit me together in my mother's womb. I praise you, for I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. My frame was not hidden from you when I was made in the secret place, when I was woven together in the depths of the earth. Your eyes saw my unformed body, and all the days ordained for me were written in your book before one of them came to be. I just want you to think about these, and I want you to understand that you are known by God. You know, when you get out of high school, you're going to feel like you have to discover who you are. God already knows who you are. God already knows what's going to satisfy you. This night is kind of about you, but it's about God, because God is the one who's in control of your life. God knows what's going to make you happy. God knows yourself better than you know yourself. So the closer you get to God, the more you're going to discover about yourself. You're not going to find yourself in people. You're not going to find yourself in things and in grades. You're going to find yourself in God. Next thing is, God has an even better plan for your life than you have. It says, you hem me in behind and before. You lay your hand on me. That hand is representative of God's sovereignty and his control. There are going to be times in your life, I'm not going to try to sound like a downer, where everything you have planned is going to come crashing to the ground. And you have two choices. You're going to either get all upset and become hopeless because your plans failed, or you can look to God and find hope in that God decided he had better plans for you. Some of you have plans that are good plans, but God has better plans. So always remember that. And the final thing is that I've seen some of you guys, you can run really fast, but you can't outrun God. No matter where you go, you may, I hope you don't, decide that I'm going to go to college and I'm going to put my faith on a shelf for a couple years, and when I'm done in college, I'll come back and pick my faith back up. You can run, but you can't outrun God. It says, where can I go from your spirit? Where can I flee from your presence? The spoiler alert, nowhere. No matter where you go, God's going with you. Your parents, this would make them cry if they were here to hear this. Your parents, they're not going to be able to go with you everywhere in your life, but God is going to go with you everywhere. You can take that as a comfort, or you can take that as conviction. I take that as comfort. God knows you better than you know yourself. God has better plans for your future than you have for your future. And no matter how far you run, you can't outrun God, so embrace it. We're going to end by having a time of prayer over our seniors. And we're going to, a couple leaders are going to be praying. Kate's going to pray. I'd ask Wyatt if he would pray, and then I'm going to close in prayer. So just like we did with Blake, I want everybody to come onto the stage and find a senior and put your hands on them. Just find a senior and put your hands on them. And I'm going to hand this mic to Wyatt, and Wyatt's going to pray, and then when Wyatt's done praying, he's going to find Kate and hand the mic to Kate. And then when Kate's done praying, I'll close this in prayer, and we're going to go downstairs and eat cake, and these guys are going to finish their senior wall. But let's focus our minds and focus our thoughts on what God has in store for these teenagers. Wyatt?
Father God, I just want to come to you right now and thank you for tonight. I just thank you for the privilege to come and just think on these seniors' lives and all that they've done in the youth group and just all the life that they've lived in the past. But God, I just pray that we'll also just be hopeful in the life that they still have to live forward. God, I pray that as we send them out from here, God, that they will just do great things in your name. That God, you'll use them all because I know that you've gifted them all so uniquely and that they all have so many different gifts and personalities and talents that you want to use for your glory. I pray that you'll just reveal that to them, God. Whatever they do, whatever school they go to, whatever major they have, whatever they get into in college, whatever jobs they have in the future, God, I pray that you'll just lay on their heart a burden for them to use that for your glory and to tell other people about your son Jesus and the salvation that's offered through him. God, I pray that you'll just use them all in many different ways. Some might be missionaries, some might be pastors, some might just be working in the normal work field, but using that to tell others about you. I pray that that will just be the desire of their heart, to tell others about you, to glorify you, and to just constantly abide in you and learn more about you. God, I thank you for all the time that I've got to know all of these people individually. Again, I just pray that your Holy Spirit will be upon them as you send them from here, that they'll just grow in their faith more and more, and that this will just be a launching pad into all that you have for them.
Dear Heavenly Father, I just come to you with such a humble heart. And I lay these seniors before you and at your feet, dear Lord. And they have been so special to me. Many of them I have known for several years, since they were 12 years old until now. And many of them I've just gotten to know this past year. But yet, each and every one is still special. And dear Lord, they're special because you created them. And you gave them life, dear Lord. And I just pray right now, this is a huge moment in their lives. It wasn't too long ago that I was sitting in a chair at Wahama High School and just, listening to my friends give speeches and just thinking about the next journey, next chapter of my life, dear Lord. And I just know what is, lying before these kiddos. And I just pray that you please just watch over and guide them, and that you just continue to have your hand upon their lives, dear Lord. And I know that there are going to be challenges that they face. There are going to be temptations that come their way. But I just pray that they will stay steadfast in you, that they will continue to just dive into your word and just continue to trust in you and just live their lives completely and sold out for you, dear Lord, because nothing that this world has to offer is worth it, dear Lord. It may seem like it may seem enticing, but yet you are all they need, dear Lord. And I just pray that they would use the knowledge that they have gained through the years in youth group and just the knowledge from your word, dear Lord, that they would just hold those truths and they would hide them in their hearts, dear Lord, and that they would just continue to just cling to you and know that this life is not their own, but this life is to be lived out for you and for your glory alone. In Jesus' name.
God, this is not something that's easy for us to do, to turn teenagers back over to you. So, Father, I pray that you'll help us as leaders and youth group members to trust you, because they were never ours to begin with. They're yours. God, I pray that you will be a light to their path and a lamp to their feet. I pray that you will, with your Holy Spirit, lead them in your paths. That, God, if they're to stray, if they are to try to find satisfaction in the things of the world, God, that they will not find satisfaction. That the only thing they will find is conviction and people sent by you to put them back on the path that you would have them to walk. God, I pray that you will give them the greatest desire to get into your word and to read the Bible, because that's the only place they're going to be able to find truth. I pray that you'll give them a thriving prayer life, that every time they have a burden, every time they have a care, they will quickly cast their cares on you, the only one with shoulders big enough to carry it. God, thank you for these teenagers. I pray blessings over their life. In Jesus' name, amen. That sucks. Okay, we're going to go down.